and get started right away. We have lots. I missed you guys. 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah.
Crazy. Halfway done. Only 3 more weeks to go. So you guys are rocking and rolling, doing great. So I wanted to start with if you would share, each of you, just kind of briefly how you've set up your office hours, how you kind of figured out how that's going to work for you, and then a takeaway from your either the 31-minute call or listening to the Melissa Feetsam's YouTube video. Okay?
Oh.
We'll start with Veronica.
I really liked the refresher that the 31-minute calls gave me. I listened to them, but I remember listening to them in Success in 6, and it just got me re-energized again in the time management area and being in control of my calendar. And I have set aside office hours, but I never really assigned tasks to those office hours. It was kind of just do whatever I need to get done. And so now I've set aside to where one day I'm going to focus on training, one day I'm going to focus on my team, one day I'm going to focus out just getting mailers out and hostess packets and that type of stuff done. So that's what I'm trying to implement for myself right now.
Awesome. Great. Okay. And why don't you just go ahead and press mute if you're not sharing right now, just so we can block out any background noise if that works. Okay, Lessa.
I just hit mute, Kirsten.
I know. You obeyed and then I called you.
Simon says, all right, my takeaways were the whole time management, and I took part of your email reference, and I'm actually color blocking my weekly portion of my planner versus my overall spectrum that I have that is horribly colored. Looks like my kid colored all over it. And then the quote that Melissa gave about success being rented really hit home for me. And then just utilizing the fact that no matter what our title is, we're still a consultant first. And if we don't take care of that, then we're not taking care of our business.
Awesome. Yeah, those are the 2 lines that really stood out to me too. Jimeline.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi. The powerhouse call for me simply was just really truly just, it only takes 20 minutes to focus on one thing and to make it focused work, because the focus on it and expand it. So it's not going to grow unless you spend time on it, and 20 minutes is doable. So that was good for me. My office hours, I really like at the beginning of the week creating my list of what I need to get done for the week, and then assigning them to my Wednesday hours, my Thursday couple hours, and my Friday hours. So knowing exactly that week what I'm going in to do, because for me it's changing right now, but that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you. Okay, Jamie.
For me, I had kind of blocked out what I was going to be doing throughout the week earlier, but I hadn't really been following it. So now it's like, now that I've planned out my office hours and I have it set, I'm really going to try and stick to it this time. And my biggest takeaway from the 31-minute call was to stop multitasking. I think if I can listen to a 31-minute call in the background while I'm trying to send out emails or something else, then I'm being effective, but truly I'm not. So just focus, whatever amount of time it takes, and then move on to the next task, and I'll be much more efficient.
Awesome. That's one of the things that I love about us doing Zoom for our Leading Ladies calls is before we did them as just a conference call. Well, you could have been pushing the cart in Safeway. You could have been, this does provide the accountability of you're really engaged, and you're going to get more out of it when you're fully engaged. So that's a great point. All right, Penny.
Hello.
Hi.
I think for the takeaway from the call, I really thought Melissa Feasum's 20 minutes a day was really good for me, because sometimes, like, especially when I'm working 16-hour shifts, I need to just focus 20 minutes, which isn't that much, on doing my business. And I did it this week with a potential recruit, and I'm going to follow up with her tomorrow when I have time and office hours and whatnot. But and she wants to join my team, so she was asking me questions about it. It was pretty nice to, like, just focus that time for her. And then for my calendar blocking, my office hours are primarily Thursdays and Fridays when my kids are in school right now. And I like assigning the tasks so that I know what to focus on during those hours. It's pretty nice. I just need to stay focused and do it. So
Awesome. Yay. Well, I can't wait to welcome your new teammate. That'll be exciting.
yeah, me too. Woohoo.
All right, Lacey.
Okay. So I'm reading my notes here. I was jotting down notes while everyone was talking. Oh, I really like to point in the video that I watched. It says, you can't teach what you don't know, and you can't lead where you won't go. And I felt like that just really spoke to me, because, I mean, you can't grow if you're not going to be able to go out of your box and learn and open yourself up to new things. And then for my calendar, I really just tried to stick with, I have my nights open normally because my husband works, and so I have peace and quiet. And so I just try to block out my nights, and kept, like, Sundays and the Fridays that I have off for my husband. So
Yay. Awesome. Thank you.
yes, thank you.
All right. Seneca, are you there? I think her picture might be frozen. Okay. Seneca, when you come back in, let us know and we'll have you share.
Okay, I'm here. I did get frozen because I was like, what happened? I left the house. Okay, so let's see here. The 31-minute calls, I actually listened to 2, but the one that really stood out is just making sure that, you know, you have, no, I'm sorry, let me start with Melissa, was that 20 minutes is all you need, and focus on whether it's booking, recruiting, you know, customer service calls. That really stood out to me as well. I think someone else did mention that. And then I watched another video and it said the same exact thing. So that's really making me stay on top of it. My office hours, yeah, you know, I run a daycare, so I have to do it when they're napping, which is, you know, they go down about 12:30. So about 12:45, I'm, you know, on the phone, making my calls with everyone that's in my No Lead Left Behind book binder. And that's about 2:45 because they start waking up about 3. And then that's on certain days like Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, I believe. And then Wednesday evening and Friday, I do it in the evening from like 6:30 to 8. And then I may add another day once Leading Ladies is over for Tuesday if I need to add more hours in the evening. And then the 31-minute call, I have to go off memory. What's about? It was about balancing work and family, one, and that is huge for me because, you know, running 2 businesses is not easy. So just balancing everything and utilizing, you know, my calendar and blocking out the time is very crucial and essential to me to make sure that I stay on task, and using the list of the 5 the night before to kind of put down in my calendar what I'm going to do, because if not, I can be all over the place. So that was it for me.
Well, thank you. And that is a perfect segue, because what I thought, I had asked all of our directors on the call if they would just share a quick tip on how they have, it's never a perfected thing. We're all still working on it, but that balance of work home life and just how we make that work. And so if you guys would share just how you've made that work now, and then maybe something that really helped you when you were at their stage in the business, to really kind of submit in that time, that dedication, that commitment that you're going to have to commit to really make your business work. So I'll have Melissa share first. Oh, she's on mute. There she is.
Yeah, there we go. So, sorry, the questions is basically how did we balance things when we first became a director or first became a consultant?
Just in general, how you've kind of done that as you've grown your business. And one of the things I love is about half of our directors, my word, what's wrong with me? Half of our directors work full-time outside of the house, and then the other half work full-time at the house. And so if you're working full-time out of the house, you're going to have to work that around your day job. If you're working full-time at the house, you have to work it around naps and children. So either way, it provides obstacles. So just how you've made that work for you.
Okay. So I'm a stay-at-home mom I've got 5 kids, but 2 of them that are at home right now. I've usually had about 3 home at one time. So throughout my business, really, the biggest thing has been like my office. Like if I can get into my office and have my time in my office, I get a lot done. There's things I can do, like maybe Facebook or that kind of stuff outside of my office, but I try to get that focused time where it's just mine. And, the biggest thing is communication, like, okay, husband, this is my office hours time. And so, but really just for me, I need to be in my office focused on this when they're napping or maybe at night or that kind of thing, or having a babysitter here.
Okay, awesome. Jen, what about you?
Similar, actually. So I'm going to be really honest here, because I want people to feel like it's okay if they have the same situation. I've not really found a balance. I'm trying. I'm always trying. My husband's a police officer, so his schedule changes every 6 months, so that affects the way that my schedule works. And so I'm always working on having a balance, but haven't found a consistent way of doing it. But what I try to do, and someone mentioned this before, I want to say it was Jamie, but I'm not sure, is about using your 20 minutes at a time. I'm a firm believer that you can get a whole lot done in 20 minutes. And so I try to block out kind of like power hours, but like power 20 minutes whenever I can, like during nap times or when they're watching TV or something that I can do when they're the kids are occupied or busy. And I just try to get as much done in 20 minutes at a time as I can, like just uninterrupted, do not multitask. I learned that early on from Kirsten. Do not try to multitask, because I cannot get it done. Keep Facebook closed, keep my email closed, and just get stuff done that I need to do. So that's really the best way that I found that works for me with our schedule here at our home. But that it's always a work in progress. So it's okay if anybody runs up against that. But you're gonna find that sometimes, and I just keep on trying. That's my honest answer.
Love it. Thank you. All right, Holly.
Well, I work outside of the home. I'm a teacher. So my office hours change during the school year, and then in the summer I have different ones. In the summer, it's kind of nice. I just work when my kids are napping. I still have 2 that take naps, and the other 2 just have quiet time. So I can really focus, and I have an intentional 2 hours set aside every day to work on that. But during the school year, I have to get a little bit more creative, and balance is a big thing, especially with my husband. He wants to make sure that I'm keeping family stuff separate and 31 stuff separate. And so I do a lot of stuff when my kids are at dance practice or basketball or something like that. I'll take things that I need to work on with me so that I'm there, but I'm still working, and they see that, you know, mom's there for you if you need something, but I'm also working on things that I need to accomplish. And it's helped build some relationships with some of the other moms that are there. One of my teammates is a fellow dance mom that just happened to watch me work over a period of time and just started asking questions. So that's when I do a lot of my office hours, is if they're at sports practice. You know, they're busy, so I'm busy also. So it's kind of what we do here.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, Samantha.
I'm probably kind of more with Jen. You know, I try to find a balance, but it's kind of sporadic. I mean, the last couple of months of like my pregnancy and then the last couple of weeks with having a new baby, it's, you know, I haven't been as organized of sticking to specific office hours, but
What?
I agree that, yeah, crazy. But I agree that I think you can get a lot done in a short amount of time. So like, today, my kids just happened to take really good naps, and so I was able to kind of have a little power hour and just get a lot of little things done that needed to get done. And, you know, I think making a to-do list, I love that list of 6. That's something that I've continued to do since doing Leading Ladies in the spring, and that's really helpful to me to just have a list of things that I know I need to do, and it might not look the same from day to day of what my office hours are, how much I can work on it each day, or, you know, specific times. But I mean, I think just being flexible is something that I've had to really learn. And I didn't used to be that way. I mean, I'm kind of a control freak, and so I really like to have like set office hours and stuff, but it just, the last couple of months, that just hasn't worked out well for me, and sometimes naps have been more important to me. And so just being flexible and just knowing that there's certain things that I need to get done, and, you know, making time at some point during my day to do them.
Awesome. Thank you. And Nia. Nia?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I don't really have office hours because my schedule is not consistent as far as work goes. So I may be traveling or I may have a hearing, so I can't really keep it consistent. So I work when I can, and I spend a lot of my weekend time doing both of my office hours. Because that's just what works well for me. I know I can get it done on a Saturday or Sunday. And so that's just what I do. But I try to be very efficient with the time that I do dedicate. So if I'm riding the train into work on a weekday, then I'm spending that 30 minutes that I'm on the train being intentional and doing something for my business, whether it's following up with a office lead or sending out communications to my team or posting something onto the Facebook, my Gen O page, or whatever it may be. I spend that time pretty much every day doing that type of stuff.
Awesome. Thank you. I just wanted to kind of give you a snapshot of how, you know, every single one of us, our businesses look different. They are all going to be different because each of our lives are different. And I think I had shared before, but the first 6 months when I started, it was crazy. I did not follow my advice because I hadn't created my advice yet of don't multitask. And I was trying to take care of my family and do 31 at the same time. And honestly, I burnt out. I started in June and I got to Christmas and I'm like, we're not going to be able to keep doing this. And so Darren and I really talked about it over Christmas, and we're just like, okay, if we're going to do this, how are we going to make it work? And I really had, for my personality and my sanity, I needed to keep my family and 31 separate as much as I could, as far as my focused income producing activities time. And so, you know, that was really important for me to see. To be fair to be fair to my family and to be fair to my business, I needed to have time for both. So what I did when I first started, I obviously only had Dawson, so it was just around him, but he would nap from 1 to 3. I mean, that was all I worked, and I was really good about putting my phone down. I did not look at my phone outside of 1 to 3. I have kind of gotten away from that. I'm trying to get back to it, but I was really good at the beginning. 1 to 3, that was it. And so it was 1 to 3 every day, and I partied once a week. And that's really what I did when I first started to build my business. It wasn't a ton. It was 2 hours a day and 1 party a week. And that really was that keeping it simple. It wasn't overcomplicated. So don't overcomplicate it. I feel like sometimes we can really overcomplicate it. But I love how you guys all said, 20 minutes, I'm a firm believer that 20 minutes of undistracted time, you can get more done than in an hour or two of distracted time. Really. So I would much rather you be realistic and carve out 20 minutes, but you know that is completely undistracted time than trying to fit it in here or there while you've got the kids there and they need you and you're trying to cook supper and you're unloading the dishwasher. That's going to drive you crazy. So, okay, thank you guys so much for sharing. The one last thing I wanted to mention before we dive into week 4 is I love, I think Veronica shared with us, I loved in the 411 email on Monday, the video by Deanna Tieknor. If you haven't listened to it yet, make sure to watch it. It's in your inbox. But she talked about really getting new recruits off to a great start. And this is something we've talked about before, but I really liked the way she explained it. So we talk about a launch +2. So what that means is as you have new consultants joining, you want to try to have their launch party plus 2 other parties on the books before they join. If they do that, they are more than likely going to qualify and be a Pika for you within that first launch +2 parties. Typically 3 parties is going to get them to $1,000 in sales. So it's also going to right now earn them start swell and a $100 cash bonus. So make sure as you're working with your new recruits, you're focusing on launch +2 before they join. The other thing is you want to be working on your recruiting now for November. Okay, it's going to be hard to do a lot over that Thanksgiving week. So you really want to front load November, plus the fact that our Christmas shipping is only till December 10th. So if they want to plan a launch party, their 30 days from today is pretty much the end of our Christmas shipping. Okay, so we've got 1 month for Christmas shipping. So we want recruits joining now. If they join later in November or the beginning of December, it's going to be hard for them to earn their start swell and get their parties in because most people aren't going to party after the 10th if they're not going to get their orders for Christmas. So really be intentional with your recruiting right now so that they can get their launch party during this holiday boom and not joining too late that they can't take advantage of that. Okay? Okay. Jumping into week 4. So the first 3 weeks were really about setting goals, looking at your past numbers, figuring out what you're working on, your office hours, your organization, and now we're kind of diving into the booking, the selling, and the recruiting, but at a different level than we would as consultants. We're going to look at them from a leader perspective. So tonight is on mastering the basics of booking, selling, and overcoming objections. Okay? So the first thing I want you to do is take out the handout that is mastering the basics. So if you have that handout, you can go ahead and pull it out. We're going to look at each of these in detail, okay? And when you put each of these into action, you're going to be working your business. This is Robin Beelman in the call you listened to during your first week went over this acronym as well. So it'll probably sound familiar to you. But the first one is B. B is for bookings. I feel like I'm like doing Dawson's Preschool. B is for Bubba Bear. B is for bookings. Keep your calendar full. Okay, you want to book from your parties. That's really huge. When you're keeping your calendar full from month to month and coaching your hostess to success, you know that you have mastered this. Okay, so you can know, have I mastered the skill of booking? Well, look at your calendar. Is it full for the next 2 months? Then yeah, you've pretty much mastered that. If you haven't, then that's an area for you to grow. Okay, you want your calendar full from month to month and you want to coach your hostesses to success. There's no worse feeling as a leader than waking up on the first of the month with a blank calendar. That's like, oh, killer, knife to the chest. You don't want that, okay? You want to have, by the 31st of the month, you want to have your calendar set. So, for example, November. You want to have, by November 30th, you want to have your December calendar set exactly how you want it. So that when you wake up on December 1st, you know you're ready to rock and roll December. Okay, that is the way to be the most prepared and successful, is being ahead of the game. You don't want to try to be booking within the month you're in, especially as a leader, because you're role modeling for your team. Okay, so how are you going to do that? You're consistently going to book parties from parties. Okay, this is so much easier. I know you all can attest to that than doing booking blitzes or making cold calls. Now, of course, we do those things, and we need to do those things from time to time. But when you're able to keep your calendar booked from parties, one, it's going to free up your office hours to focus on other things. Two, it's going to be more fun because you're not going to have to be making those cold calls that I know a lot of you don't like doing. So for lots of reasons, it's going to help you be more successful. The purse game, the dice game, there's lots of them out there, but those two specifically, and they're really just a variation of each other, are definitely getting a ton of success. I know most of you have tried those. So definitely, if you're not booking parties from parties right now consistently, I want you to try one of those games, okay? A is for attitude. Be positive and be flexible. See challenges as opportunities to grow and learn. Okay, a positive outlook is going to allow you to be flexible and to see the best in people and in all situations. Okay, when something first happens, do you say, ugh, everything stinks, I'm never going to make my numbers, this isn't going to happen? Or are you know what, I'm going to rise above. Yeah, this is hard, but it's an obstacle that I'm going to overcome. I can do this. Okay, that is the type of person in the long run that is going to succeed because they have conquered the battle of their mind. Okay? And a positive attitude is extremely important when dealing with your customers, your hostesses, and your new consultants. They are going to follow your lead. Okay? Let's say, and let's just assume we're going to have things sell out before the end of Christmas shipping. Okay? Let me just say that again. Things are going to sell out before the end of Christmas shipping. So let's say it is the customer's favorite product and print they want. Okay, well, if you come to them and, yeah, that sucks, sorry, stinks to be you. I mean, hello, not that you would say that. But if you can come with a positive attitude of, you know, I know you're looking forward to that, but guess what? You have amazing taste. And there's a lot of other ladies that love it. And so we might be able to get that for you after the holidays, but to get you something before, what about one of these two products? They're really similar to the product you were interested in, or, you know, something to that effect. How you approach her is how she's going to respond. Okay. Also with how you talk to each other. I know that you guys are amazing with that on our Leading Ladies page and on our pages in general. They are so positive, but, you know, be careful of the people you surround yourself with and that you really are helping to encourage and uplift and be positive, because that is what's going to be a mental drain on you if that's not happening. This definitely, that attitude comes in handy when people cancel, when sales are low, when people say no to joining your team. If you have built up a strong mental attitude, yeah, it's going to stink, but you're going to move on and you're going to be able to handle it. And you're going to understand that that's just part of the business. If you haven't built up a strong attitude, those things can easily defeat and derail you. Okay? So that's something to really pay attention to. I called 6 of my home office leads yesterday, and the first one, she hung up on me. I'm like, why would you request information about the business, but then you hang up on me? But you know what? That's okay. I've been hung up on before. You move on to the next person. But, you know, if that really had just messed with my head, I would have missed out on calling the next 5 people. So that's just part of it. It's going to happen. You move on. Okay? S is for selling. This is the backbone of what we do. And so we must learn to maximize our sales at the party. It's where we meet the most people, and it's our best opportunity to book, sell, and sponsor. Okay? So you don't have to be the sales type. In fact, I don't want you to be the sales type. Okay, if you're salesy, that's a turnoff. Your job is to share. If you are sharing and you are enthusiastic and you are positive, our products are going to sell. Okay? I had my party last night, and really, I've kind of just started something new. I'll pass out different sets of the products to them and let them just kind of share with each other what they love about it, and then I'll chime in here or there. But they basically sell it to each other. It's not about me trying to convince them. If they can get the products in their hands and they can see my excitement and enthusiasm, and I'm knowledgeable to explain different things, the product is going to sell. Okay? So it's not about being salesy, but it's about being willing to share and get out of your comfort zone and put yourself out there. People are looking for products like ours, and so they're going to buy them somewhere. I mean, I'm sure you've seen so many different knockoffs at Target, at Home Goods, at Land's End. You know, people love our types of products, so they're going to buy them from somewhere. Why not buy them from you? Okay. Selling is the epitome of working in your business. We talk about working in your business or working on your business. Okay, working on your business is like creating the hostess packets, mailing out flyers or catalogs. All of those kinds of things are important, but we want to make sure that what we're maximizing, that we're mostly working in our business. Okay, we're working in our business when we're booking, selling, and recruiting. We're working on our business when we're organizing our desk, filing our papers, stuffing hostess packets. Okay, those are the kinds of things Jamie and I were talking about that you could do late at night when you're tired. Put on a movie, pop popcorn, and stuff hostess packets. If your main office hour is 1 to 2 in the afternoon, and that is your focused office hour time, don't spend that time. That's your prime real estate. Don't spend that time on working on your business. Make sure you're working in your business when you are the most alert, undistracted, and able to work. Okay? Here are some guidelines when you are working on the selling aspect. Know your products. Okay? That's something, of course, a new consultant, they're learning and they're going to grow. But at this stage of the game, all of us should know our products. We should be confident in the products, what they're great for, how we use them, where to find them in the catalog, what kind of products go well with them to create sets. Those are important. You are the expert. You are that personal shopper. Okay? Upsell. You should be great at upselling. Do you always talk about adding the personalization? Do you have a personalized item to share with them? Do you talk about it at full service checkout? Are you talking about, let's add the key fob onto that, onto your set, or the wristlet strap onto that wallet to make it a clutch? Okay, upselling is really important to continue to grow in that selling aspect. And then the last thing is listening, finding your customer's need. Okay, that's one of the things I love about having them kind of sell the products to each other is I learn a lot from them talking about who has an upcoming wedding, who 2 of the girls last night were pregnant. Well, okay, now I'm going to start, and they didn't look pregnant. They were newly pregnant, so I wouldn't have necessarily known that if they hadn't shared it. So now I'm going to talk to them about different things for the baby. So there's lots of things when you're listening that you're going to be able to pick up on to help you in selling. Okay? I is for initiative. What you put in, you will get back. Okay? Be a great coach for your hostess. And most importantly, be her partner. I know I shared this before, but I'll send a postcard to my hostesses the month before their party. So, like, I just sent them to all my December hostesses. And, you know, basically, I think of myself as like a law firm, so to speak. So let's say my hostesses' last names are Wilson, Chase, and Deal. Okay? Well, then really, my business for the month of December is the office of Tracy, Wilson, Chase, and Deal. Okay, that's my business for that month. Without Wilson, Chase, and Deal, I have no business. I can't do it with just Tracy. So they are your partner. Do you treat them that way? Do you spend the time with them that as if they were a partner in your business? If you were sitting around a board meeting room and there needed to be 4 of you, are you treating them with that time, respect, and energy? Okay? Don't assume that your hostess knows what to do. And the worst, honestly, sometimes are the people who have done direct sales before. We think that they know what they're doing, but 31 is a different ball game. And, you know, a lot of them do a lot through social media and that do some other direct selling. And so no matter what their background is, don't assume that they know what to do. Okay. Tell her that you are her business partner and that you want to party with her your job is to help her get the most for free. And if she knows that that's your job and you see that as your job, you're both going to be successful in the process. Okay. Let her know that you offer this personal service to her, that you are going to be hostess coaching. She might not know what that term is, so you might not use that term, but that this is a personal service you offer to her to work alongside with her and touch base with her periodically to make her party great. Okay, if you say this at the beginning, she won't be surprised, or even more importantly, she's not going to think you're pushy when you are contacting her throughout those 2 to 3 weeks to make sure she has a great party. Okay, when you take the initiative to tell her from the time she books her show, you're setting her up for success. Okay. Taking initiative is key in our business, and it's important to remember that what you put in, you are going to get back. Okay, this really is a business. I love the quote. You know, if you play with 31, it'll give you play money. If you're serious with 31, it'll give you serious money, and it's true. You're going to get out of it what you put in. That was one of my favorite things when I first started working is I love teaching. But it didn't matter if I was the best teacher or the worst teacher on my hall. I got paid the same amount. It didn't matter. And I love that with 31, it's completely incentivized. The work you put in, if you do one more party, you will get paid more. If you recruit one more person, you will build your team quicker. You're going to get out of it what you put into it. And you alone are responsible for the paycheck you get. Okay, and that can be good and that can also be hard. But I love that my hard work is directly related to how I am rewarded. Where in teaching that it wasn't always that way. Okay, at the party, it's important to be proactive and to look for opportunities to book, sell, and sponsor new team members. Listen for cues. You guys know about this, but listening for those cues, an upcoming vacation, their wish list is bigger than their budget. You know, the one I always hear is, oh, there's so much I want. They need money for their kids going to college. Okay, all of those kinds of things are cues to talk about the business opportunity. And when you take you out of the picture and you're really thinking about what's best for them, then you're taking initiative. And that's not being pushy, that's offering a gift. I think about before, you know, nobody offered it to me. I was a home office lead. But I think about, you know, if somebody had offered it to me, you know, what if I wouldn't have done it, you know, what would my life be right now without 31? Of course, you know, God would have provided in other ways, but it's been huge and life-changing for me. And what if it could be that for somebody else? But because I'm nervous, I don't say anything. Okay, so when you're thinking about them, it doesn't make it as scary because you know what it could be for them. C is for confidence. Having confidence in yourself, confidence in the company and its mission, and confidence in your products, our hostess program, confidence all around. This is going to really set you apart. Confidence is appealing to others, okay? We talked about Director's Retreat last year. Desperation is like a bad odor. Nobody wants to be around that. But confidence is like a sweet perfume. It's appealing. People want to be around positive, confident people. They feel more secure. You know I went to a party a couple months ago with another direct selling company, and she was so nervous. And it's okay to be nervous, but it was a different, like I know I shouldn't say this or I shouldn't do that. You know, it was kind of that insecure. And it made me sitting in the audience nervous for her and not comfortable. And, you know, I didn't really ask a lot of questions about the products because she didn't really seem like she knew. And so you don't want that. You want to be confident. You want to be enthusiastic, and you want people to know that you're going to take care of them and that you have the skills to do that. People are truly attracted to confident people. It is directly tied to your knowledge, your skills, and your experience. If you're knowledgeable, if you've learned and practiced and grown in your skills, and if you have experience, which is what all of us are gaining right now, that is going to help you be confident, okay? The more you learn, the more knowledge you're going to have, the better your skills are going to be, Okay, anytime we have these free trainings, Christy's doing a great training tonight on Facebook. You guys have done Success in 6. You're doing Leading Ladies. You're listening to 31-minute calls. All of those things are growing you in knowledge and skills. And then the experience is the party. That's where you're practicing it. The experience is the coffee date with your potential new consultant. Okay, all of those things are building confidence in you. Confidence in 31 and our mission comes from believing that you're working for a solid company that's changing lives. It's okay if you don't agree with everything that 31 does, but I hope and pray that you can be confident behind its mission and confident behind Scott and Cindy and confident behind your leaders, because if not, that makes it really hard to really stand behind and promote to a new consultant or at a party without that confidence in your company and in its mission. So if you don't know a lot about the company's background, our mission, our founders, that would be a great thing to research and to find out more about so that you can truly say you are confident. And when things come out that you don't like, you know that it was a prayerful decision made and that was the decision that was best for the company. And so you're going to make it work even if it's not what you would choose. And there's a lot of things that I haven't loved over the past 4 years. But you deal with it because that's with any job. I'm not going to love everything. But I know that the intent with 31 is always for our best interest. And so you swallow the pill and you move forward. Okay, and then S is for sharing. When you master the basics of sharing the gift of 31 with everyone, you are going to have a very bright future. I think back to when I first started, and if I had just done the parties and not grown a team, how different my life would be now. And so the true key, parties, they talked about before, parties are your paycheck. Okay, that's your money month to month. But recruiting is your retirement. That is that residual income that you have every single month, whether you party or not. So when I had Cali 2 years ago, I had some catalog parties here or there, but I had taken that month off. But I still received, at that point I'd been doing it 2.5 years. Yeah, about 2.5 years. I still received like a $4,000 paycheck that month from having a team. That's huge. That was huge for us because we depend on 31 for our bills and our income. And so I would not have had that had I not built a team. Okay? So building a team is huge in making this a success for you down the road. For the most part, if you have a consultant that is doing parties and doesn't build a team, typically, they don't last past 3 to 4 years because you tend to get some burnout and you're not necessarily making a pay raise. When you've built a team, you're going to get that pay raise every year. Okay? Okay, Samantha's going to share with us 3 opportunities of how to share 31 with everyone.
Okay. So basically we have 3 opportunities to share with everyone. Should be sharing this with everyone. And this reminds me a lot of the backwards catalog script. So I don't know what it basically is, what the backwards catalog script is. So I don't know if any of you have seen that. I know it's posted on the Lineage page of Trisha Edmondson's backwards catalog. And I recently started doing this one at my parties. And so you're basically giving every person the opportunity to either shop and be a customer, host a party and save, or join your team and earn money. So when you do the backwards catalog, so you can be doing this at parties, but really, you could share this with anybody at any time. If you're just, randomly talking to someone in a store that comments on your bag or something like that. But if you start at the back of the catalog and you present those 3 opportunities, you're starting with the best deal in the catalog, which is the kit, because you're getting over $400 worth of products for $99. And then obviously you have the opportunity to earn money. So that's the first opportunity that you're presenting, is the opportunity to earn. And then when you flip the page to the hostess benefits, you are offering the opportunity to save. So maybe they're not interested in joining, but they really love the products. They might want to host a party and save, earn credit, half price items, exclusives. So that's the opportunity to save. And then, if that's still not something that they're interested in, then you can just present them the opportunity to shop. So like Kirsten was saying, they're going to buy this stuff somewhere. People love our products. So it's really an opportunity for them. You are presenting them with an opportunity to find a solution for something that they need anyway. If they're organizing their home, or they need a diaper bag or a wedding gift, they're going to buy this stuff anyway. So you're giving them the opportunity to be a customer. And if you offer them the monthly special, then they're kind of saving with that too. So, there's really no reason, and not saying that every conversation that you have with anyone, needs to be about 31, but there's really not anybody that you couldn't be presenting the opportunity to. So there's just, I think it easily flows into any conversation that you're having with someone. So.
And especially the more practice you get at and you grow in that confidence, you're going to be able to easily flow that into any conversation.
Yeah.
It did not start that way with me. I stumbled over my words. It was terrible.
Right.
you grow in confidence.
I think, you might be more comfortable with certain parts. I'm still not super great at recruiting. I'm way better at booking and selling than I am at recruiting. So recruiting conversations for me, presenting the opportunity is something that, I'm still not as comfortable with. And I'm still working on that every time that I do offer the opportunity. But, I'm more comfortable with offering, solutions for just selling or booking. So your strengths are going to be, you're not going to be 100%, I guess, in each of those areas, but it's just something that as you work on it, you get more confident with it. So
awesome. Thank you. And so with the basics, with those, just something to keep in mind, the booking, the selling, and the sharing. Okay. If you kind of put a little star next to the B, S, and S. Okay. BSS. The booking, selling, and the sharing. Those are obviously, we have no business without those, but those could also be true of a consultant, correct? They have to book, sell, and share. I guess they don't have to share, but that's what our business model is built on. What sets you apart as a leader is not how you book. It's not how you sell. It's not how you share. It is the intangible qualities of attitude, initiative, and confidence. And I can honestly say that is true. With our leaders that we have some great consultants that are sellers and even some great consultants that are recruiters. But really, with our leaders, it is the attitude, it is the initiative, and it is the confidence that makes them a good leader. Okay, so make sure as you are going through this leading, ladies, of course that you're mastering the skill of booking, selling, and recruiting, but that just as important, you're growing that mental toughness for attitude. You're growing in stepping out of your comfort zone and taking initiative, and that you're growing and becoming confident by trying new things, because that really is going to be what sets you apart as a leader. Would any director want to chime in of how that they see that that's true?
Say that it's just like anything, anything that you do as you grow and you learn it and you become used to it, that it just becomes second nature to you to talk about. It's not anything that you even really have to try to work at. But it takes a while to get there, and it doesn't mean that you're not ready to be a director just because you're not, completely well versed in every part. I get asked questions every day by team members or even sometimes the customers that I'm like, I don't know the answer to that question. I will find out for you, or whatever it may be, or don't know the right way to pursue the answer, but I'll find it. So but I think it totally becomes second nature, and you just kind of talk about it like any other subject in your life. Once you get more used to it.
Stay unmuted. We're coming to you.
Okay.
The next handout is the numbers that make you money. So Jen's going to lead us through that one.
Okay. So this one is, this handout says part one, numbers that make you money. So it looks like that. Okay, and pretty simple. This is a worksheet that you can complete each month. I would suggest either just starting with November, or even if you wanted to go back to October's numbers and plug those in. You're going to kind of work it with your 3-month action plan and compare how you really did to what you had planned on doing. So just plug in, November, December, January, and you'll look at the 3-month action plan, fill in the actual numbers from your action plan onto this worksheet for each of the areas. So you have the contact section, the sales section, the booking section, and the recruit section. When you look at the action,
we did the action plan for October, November, and December.
Oh, did we do it? Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that part.
So we actually have a month we can look at results. So that's great.
Right. I'm sorry. There you go. I just totally didn't even put that together. Sorry. So yes. So plug in the numbers for October, and it's great because sometimes you don't realize how much you really did do or how well you really did do until you write out the numbers. And so it's actually a really good reminder. Obviously, you're going to find challenges as well, but it's a great way to compare your goals with your actual numbers to determine your strengths in the areas that you need improvement. So kind of just put in, how many contacts you made that month. And I just made a spreadsheet where I list all the contacts that I made, whether they were at a party or someone out and about or a home office lead, whatever it is. What were the average party sales? I would think that's a really fascinating number when you look at what your average party sale is. And depending upon the month within the year, or as you become a more experienced consultant, how your average sales really can increase. Your cancellation rate. Because sometimes when you get cancellations, you feel like, oh, people always cancel on me. But the reality is that you've only had a couple. And so that's the way that you can kind of find out where you're at, what you need improving with, and kind of compare what you thought you were going to do with how you really did. And then you can look at it and just determine, did you get what you think you were going to get out of it? Do you like it? What you see, and did you reach your goals? And kind of help you kind of match those things up.
Awesome. It's a great analyzing tool, like she talked about. And I love that the name of it is the numbers that make you money, because these are the things that have resulted in the paycheck you got today. Today was payday. Woo-hoo! So based on what you did in October is directly reflected in the paycheck that you received. So that's exciting to get to see the goals that you set and the hard work that you do pay off. Okay. Nia's going to share with us a tip to go along with that on how she keeps her goals visual.
So I have a vision board, which I highly recommend that everyone create one, whether it's at the beginning of the year or the beginning of the 31 year, or even right now. Start putting together what your goals are, what you dream about having. For example, some of the things I have on my vision board are pictures of like the beach and the pictures that they use to advertise for LIT, because that is my goal, and it really helps to visualize it. I use all of the tools and resources that we have for tracking numbers. So like the number of money, the 3-month action plan, whatever your monthly TV goal is, your team skills goal, your recruiting goal, the LIT tracker, have more than one copy of those items. And so you may have a copy on your vision board or posted somewhere in your office. Keep a copy with you in your planner. Anything else that you access on a regular basis, maybe up on the bathroom mirror, I don't know. Just somewhere where you're going to see it multiple times a day so that it stays at the forefront of your mind. And you can, you don't have to be like, oh, I can't tell you what my goals are until I get home because it's the only place that I keep it. Have it with you so that you're always seeing it and it's always there. There was a time, probably about a month or so ago, where I was like, I do not want to make a phone call. Mm-hmm. And I had my LIT tracker that I had completed, and I was like, but I really want to go on an LIT trip. So I'm gonna start making phone calls. It's a subtle but not so subtle reminder to make you do the work. So that's all I have on my tip.
Awesome. And we did those last year at our director's retreat. So we might do something different this year. So I hope each of you will be joining us. That will be, remember, your goal is senior consultant by January 12th as a leading lady to register. So we would love to have each of you. Okay, the numbers that make you money part 2, that's another handout. So if you want to grab that out really quick. I think what we're going to do is instead of having that little bit of Q&A time, we're going to go just a little bit over. So we're going to talk fast. And I'm going to email you the part we don't get to. Okay, the numbers that make you money. These are the things, these are some questions. Once you have analyzed from part 1, once you've done that worksheet, so once you've looked at in October what you actually did, then this is going to be the self-reflective piece. This is really important. Without doing part 2, part 1 and all the numbers aren't going to really mean anything. Okay, so you want to go to part 2 and ask yourself these self-reflective questions to see if you can uncover how you can grow. So for example, let's say you were a little bit short on recruiting for October. You didn't quite meet your goal. Well, then you can look at that sheet and you can go to the recruiting questions and see if you can help uncover what might have been an issue there. Are you following up with your host? How are you following up with your hostesses and other potential recruits? Okay, so maybe it's just a tweak in your skills of how you're doing it. What type of recruiting seeds are you planting at your parties? Who shared their ideas for using the 31 products at the party? Did you make sure and talk to those people? Did you offer the opportunity to become a consultant during checkout? Why or why not? What did your hostess say when you told her she'd be great at being a consultant? So these are just pointed questions in certain areas that you need to grow in that are really going to help you self-reflect. Are you doing those things? And if not, why not? And how can you change that moving forward? Okay? And just like I said, the booking and the selling and the sharing are cornerstones of our business at every single level, and they need to be mastered. But the initiative, confidence, and attitude are what's going to set you apart as a leader, and they're harder to measure, but they are what's going to take you into leadership, and that is very, very true. Okay, so if you're mastering the basics of booking and selling and recruiting, you're naturally going to produce the numbers that are going to make you ready to promote to director. Holly's going to share with us a quick tip on how she does some VIP invites for her parties.
Okay, so when I was going through this training last year, one of the things that I wasn't completely satisfied with was the sales at each of my parties. So I went back and I looked at how I was hostess coaching, and one of the things that I started doing, and I still do it, is when I meet up with my hostess, I explain that I have a self-addressed stamped envelope in there with a guest list. And I encourage them to fill that out and send it back to me within 48 hours. And on that guest list, I ask them to put stars by 6 to 8 ladies that they consider their VIP guests. So maybe it's their best friends or their sister or their mom, but the people that they really truly want to be at that party. And those ladies, I send the mini catalogs with all of the party information, so they feel just a little bit special. And then if they can't attend, at least they've got material in their hands. They can look through, find products that they like, and that sometimes will lead to an outside order that helps boost the party sales too. So
awesome. So that's definitely, if while you're doing those self-reflective pieces, your hostess coaching is an area that you want to grow in, that's a great tip to help with that, okay? And I want you to keep this in mind before we move on to our last section. Discipline, not desire, determines the destination. And I think that's really important. We can desire a lot of things, but it's the consistent discipline of every single day that's going to determine the destination that you get to. So that is what week 3 was all about, was setting up those disciplines in your life so that you have the time set aside to work, to not make it just a desire, but to make it happen for you. Okay? Melissa is going to talk about, we're going to dive deeper into this, but she's just going to hit on it for right now about overcoming objections. So that's your last handout. And we're going to go over to it.
With your overcoming objections, I'm not going to, you guys have the handout. So there's a lot of good, look, that's a really good chart to really just dive into and think about, what if someone says I'm too busy? Read through those. Those are really good. One thing I'm going to just since we're kind of out of time, really encourage you is to focus on and be creative on what their needs are. Last night, for example, I did the purse booking game. So, and they all want to play. So they're all voluntarily playing where they could either get a prize or get a booking. And so I had a couple of ladies that were kind of like down about having a booking. Like they're just like, I don't like to have parties. And we're just kind of being negative about it a little bit. And I was just listening to them. What were they saying? Basically what they were saying is they like to go to parties and spend money, and they don't really want to host a party. And, they didn't really care about the free stuff or whatever. And so I turned it into a fundraiser where I said, well, what if we did, we're going to do it in January. Everybody's already spent money on Christmas. Let's have everybody bring an old purse, an old bag, and donate it to, we'll donate to the local Women's Crisis Center or something, or anything that they want to. And, the commission will all be a fundraiser for them. Their eyes just lit up at that. And so, and then they were like, yeah, that, I feel good. I heard them say the words, I feel good about that. I want to do that. And it's really a matter of just listening to what their focus is, like what their needs are. And but you have to get to know them at the party. You have to be talking to them and listening to them and know what's going on. And then you can kind of come up with more creative solutions on what's going to fit what they're looking for. What are they wanting to do? So that's just kind of my tip is, when you're thinking about this, overcoming objections, like the thing it says in there is really like, hey, they are just mainly, there's a lot of insecurity there about having a party, that people won't want to come. They're not going to have any people there. And so really just focus on what do they want? And let's talk about how to get it for them. Let's talk about, well, if you're worried about you can't get 10 people there, let's do 5 people at a restaurant, that kind of thing. And if they're too busy, let's talk about like, well, are you going to be at Penny Garner? We did this for her. She was going to be at one of her hostesses was going to be at dance class. So Penny brought all the products to the dance class. So finding other ways to bring the products to their friends is going to be what's going to get you the sales.
Awesome. And I love the one line. I don't know if it's on your handout or not, but it says, an objection is often just a fear masked as an excuse. And that's true. Like Melissa said, they're afraid. Like, what if none of my friends show up? What if my house is messy and they see my house? A lot of times there's a fear there. So if we can delicately and appropriately address that fear and give them some other options, most of the time it's not that people don't just want free stuff. I mean, most people do. Or like they want to have fun with their friends. Most people want to have fun with their friends. So it's most of the time they would want to, but there's something holding them back. And that's where we can become more skilled at overcoming that. Okay, the phone call scripts and the bookings at a party, that's all great information. So I'm going to send that out to you in an email tomorrow so that you have that, along with what we're going to work on this week for week 4. So that is all we have for you tonight. Thanks for sticking with us as we went a little bit over. So have a great week. We'll be hitting it hard week 5 next week. So make sure you're working your office hours this week to get your work for assignments done. And we'll stay on for just another couple of minutes if you have any questions. And if not, have a great night. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm actually having a hard time booking home parties. I booked a few online parties or on-the-go parties, but I'm really having a hard time. I know that everything works differently for people's schedules, but I guess I just don't know how to approach that. Home party is probably the better route to go. But I guess it does depend on the hostess and like what works for her. But I guess I just need some advice on that.
Yeah, awesome. I'll let somebody else answer first if anybody has a thought.
Hey, Lacey, you just got married. And so, like, I feel like as, Samantha's in baby world, you're in wedding world, and just, and that's a very real thing. And so where your, kind of where your focus is kind of where your business goes. And so, and that's okay. Like, you're in a good spot, you're learning, you're training. But I, kind of wondered, did your ball kind of stop rolling? Kirsten always talks about once the ball stops rolling, it's really hard to get it going back again. And so you might kind of be in that spot right now where you have to work really hard to get that ball rolling after your wedding, post everything. And so, but knowing that, like having power of knowing that's where you're at, and it might take a little bit more effort or a lot more effort to get that ball going is a good thing, because it maybe you won't feel defeated about it. But I would recommend just like really utilizing your, really getting 1 to 2 home parties, like just working really, really hard on getting one home party. Go through your list of 62, go through your Franks, go through every teacher that you know, every nurse that you know, every, I don't remember all the.
Empty nester, stay-at-home mom, the connected woman everywhere. Yeah, those are our peeps.
And really just find out, like, hey, what's stopping you from having a girls' night this month? Or, hey, how can I help you get your Christmas shopping list done, by Thanksgiving or something like that. But I think, you might kind of just, I've been there, like after I had my baby, the ball stopped. And I was like, okay. And it took me a month. But it really, one party, I was just talking to someone about this. One party got me 8 bookings and got me Samantha. It got me, my whole fall. So it really is about getting that home party so that you can really get everything else going.
All right. Thank you.
Another thing I would just add is I'm kind of mean. Let's just say it like it is. Well, I don't talk about online parties at all, first of all, at my party. So if they come up with that, they come up with it on their own. But if they say that they want to do it, I'll say, okay, here's the deal. In my 4 years of doing this, I've seen all different kinds of parties, and I can guarantee you're going to have more fun and you're going to get more for free if we can do a party where people can actually see the products. So if that is just not going to work at your home, why don't we pick your favorite restaurant? Or if they work, I could come during your lunch hour possibly, or even if we just, if nothing else works, even 1 hour at a Starbucks on a Saturday morning, I promise you 2 to 3 people coming, even if it's just 2 to 3 people, is going to get you more sales and going to be better than doing an online party. For the most part, it really is. And typically if I say that to them, they go for it. I've only had 1 or 2 people really insist on it, and I've passed them on to other people. I just don't do online parties. I'm not good at them. I haven't practiced them, but I've only had to do that 1 or 2 times in 4 years. Most of the time they're willing for it. That's what they go to first because it sounds easiest. So you have to kind of practice, get used to what you're going to say and how you're going to respond. I posted about my party last night. They said, they all had looked, they'd never been to a 31 party before. And they all had looked online and seen the catalog. And as soon as they came in, they were just like, oh my gosh, seeing is believing. This stuff, they were like, we came just to kind of be nice to our friend, but online, this did not look like good quality. Like, this is amazing. And I booked 2 parties. Like, that would not have happened from a catalog party or an online party. And so, letting them know with your experience, if we can have your friends, if we can get them in their hands, even if it's just 2 to 3 people, it's going to be better than typically than an online party. And that's the key that I have found is just letting them and on the go parties. I think you mentioned that on the go parties are fine. They're great. Anytime people, it doesn't matter if it's in the home, as long as people are seeing the product, that's really the goal. And if you do a catalog party or an online party, if they're just insistent on that and that's just what needs to happen, try to get the products in their hands still. A catalog party, let her take products to work for the week so that people can see them. So, even if it's going to be a catalog or an online party, still try to get products in their hand.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions or thoughts? Okay. Well, have a great night, and we'll connect back here next week.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.